try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. With over 3 decades of experience, former AT&T business CEO Ann Chow knows a lot about how to build an inclusive culture. Chow was the first woman of color to become a CEO in AT&T's over 140-year history. In a conversation on Bloomberg, she talked about what diversity, equity, and inclusion means to her.
Diversity is just simply a reality of the modern world, right? Every generation that comes forward becomes more and more diverse. There are many different dimensions to diversity. Equity is just about fairness, and inclusion is the topic as to why I wrote the book, right? Inclusion means widening your perspective by including everyone that is in your ecosystem, everyone, to have better performance.
Chow's new book, Lead Bigger: The Transformative Power of Inclusion, is about how to leverage inclusion beyond checking boxes. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Reverend, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
To Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, May 7, 2025. So this is the day in which the Real ID goes into effect. You have to have the Real ID. It's the little star in your Wisconsin's driver's license. If you got your driver's license renewed probably in the last, 5-6 years, you're probably good. But for those of you that do not have a Real ID, you're going to start to have some real problems starting today to go into some federal buildings and also to board any domestic flight. You're going to need your Real ID as well. So I want to talk a little bit more about that later on in the program and give you guys the details of what you need, because some of y'all didn't really pay attention to it. And here's what's crazy. The Real ID law is 20 years old. It was passed in 2005. That would be George W. Bush signed the Real ID requirement into law. So 20 years later, it is now an absolute requirement in the United States. So I'll give you a few more details later on in the program about that and what you need to do. Let me tell you about my day yesterday. I had a good day yesterday. It was a productive day. Not necessarily professionally productive. I guess however the show went yesterday, that would be my professional productivity. But the rest of the day after I left the radio station, I got a lot of stuff done. I got out there and I got the yard together. I had to do some spring cleaning in the yard and got the grass cut. I had to restring my weed whacker, put a new string in the weed whacker. Got the yard looking good, you see. And then I had to do a little car maintenance yesterday as well. And I'd set out to get all this stuff done yesterday after the show. So got to get the yard together, clean the yard up a little bit. But then I need to get my winter tires switched to my summer tires because I got 2 sets of tires. And if you live in Wisconsin, I highly, highly suggest you get a set of snow tires. Now, some of you may think, oh, it doesn't really snow all that much. Why do I need snow tires? Well, the compounds that winter tires are made out of, winter tires / snow tires, are a softer rubber that give you more grip and more traction when the weather is cold. So it doesn't have just everything to do with snow. It is the temperatures, because we may not get a lot of snow, but our temperatures do get cold. You want to make sure you've got good tires for the current weather conditions in the wintertime, right? So where I usually go, it's a quick process getting the tires, my winter tires, switched to my summer tires. And then, of course, in November, early December, I take my summer tires off and put my winter tires on. I just go to Mr. P's right there on about 52nd and Center. That's where I go because it's a little quick thing. And with Mr. P's, you can actually stay in the vehicle. So I put my tires that I want changed onto my vehicle in my trunk. Go to Mr. P's. I can sit in my vehicle. They jack the vehicle up to take my wheels off, switch the tires over, and then put the tires that I removed from my vehicle for the season back in my trunk. Boom. I go on about my business. So I got the yard all together. And I said, let me go ahead and just go down the street to Mr. P's, get these tires switched out, you see. So when I get there, there was just like, I don't want to call it commotion in the parking lot, but like, it looked like a series of nefarious activities that are going on. Now, if you're familiar with the neighborhood of 52nd and Center, nefarious activities are pretty much par for the course. Now, again, I didn't think anything of it because I'd gone there 1,000,001 times to get my winter tires put on, my summer tires put on, etc., right? Here's what troubled me. So they have these garage bay doors. Both of them were open. So if you need wheel or tire service, you pull up to one of those garage bay doors, and usually a very friendly gentleman will come out and say, hey, what can we do for you today? How can we help you? And I will say, Mr. P's has offered me at least very good customer service. I've never complained about the customer service, but there's a lot of just stuff going on in the parking lot, which kind of makes you look around and kind of wonder what's happening. You got to keep your head on a swivel sometimes when you're in certain parts of the north side. But let me also say this, 99.9% of the time, even if you were witnessing something that may look a little bit shady and shysty, nothing happens. Something I want people to know, if you are unfamiliar with Milwaukee and quote unquote the bad neighborhoods, 99.9% of the time, nothing happens. It's just a bunch of people living their lives, doing whatever they do. The most noise you ever hear, there's an occasional gunshot, but whatever. The most noise you ever hear is just a very loud lawnmower or a vehicle that needs a muffler replacement. That's it. Nothing really goes on that's all that dangerous. So I pull up to one of the open bays. I have my summer tires in the trunk of my vehicle. And a guy comes up and says, hey, how can I help you? Now, remember, there's nefarious looking things that are going on all around me. I don't want to publicly state what I think those things were that were going on, but you can imagine, right? I said, well, I need my snow tires, my winter tires taken off and then my summer tires, which I have in my trunk, put on. And as I'm explaining this to the fella, I don't know if he was one of the workers, but he was standing in one of the open garage door bays, okay? It's a fella there. I'm assuming he's a worker because of where he is standing. And he's smoking a blunt. And I'm staring at this guy who's smoking this marijuana cigar and just blowing the smoke. And I smell the smoke. Like, I'm 10 feet away from the guy. He's just standing right there in front of the open garage bay smoking a blunt. And then the guy who comes up to my driver's side window and was like, oh, hey, we've got some stuff going on with the compressor. Can you come back in about, 15 or 20 minutes while we hook up our compressor? And I looked at him and I said, I'm not coming back. And he was shocked. And I'm staring at the guy who's smoking the blunt directly in front of me, who looks like he might be a worker. Let me tell you something about how I feel about marijuana. I have since retracted my support for its legalization because we are a community that uses intoxicants to deal with a myriad of issues that we have, and I see the reckless use and the abuse of marijuana. Here's the other thing. I take my auto service very seriously. If I'm coming to your establishment because I'm going to pay you legitimate, real money for you to offer me a legitimate and real service to switch my tires out, the last thing I want to see is someone on your property, on your lot, standing in an open garage bay smoking a blunt. Let me tell you another reason why that's a problem. So I don't know if this guy was a worker or not. If he wasn't a worker, he absolutely should not have been there. But the problem is the person that did come to my window to see what kind of services I needed was a worker. And I don't know if we've gotten just so casual and so cavalier with marijuana smoke, but that's the problem. Here's the other thing. You're not touching my car if you're high. My tires are the only part of my vehicle that actually touch the ground. If someone is high, if someone is intoxicated and they miss a bolt, they miss a lug nut, they don't do the perfect star pattern when they are reattaching my wheels, if they don't seat my tires properly on my rim and I drive down the street and I have an accident that hurts me or God forbid somebody else, they have liability. And I couldn't get over that. That bothered me for the rest of the night. But then I also have this broader understanding of the perception of black-owned businesses. And there are people that legitimately want black entrepreneurs and black businesses to survive. Now, I don't know if Mr. P's is black-owned. I know that they have got shops in neighborhoods all throughout the city. But I have a feeling that Mr. P, whoever he is probably not African-American. But I know that the Mr. P's on 52nd and Center is all black employees. And sometimes I look at these situations and I think, oh, Sherwin, you might be blowing this out of proportion. Sure, when you're getting old now, you're an old funny duddy and you see all of the things that the young people are doing and you just start to complain about the things. That to me was completely unacceptable and it's a liability. So again, I don't know who this individual was that was like proudly and publicly smoking this marijuana cigar. I'm using proper terminology. This marijuana cigar in front of the open garage bay at a place, at basically a tire shop. But why would anybody ever go there? Why would anybody? Because there's no way that you are going to get someone performing their job at 100% if they're intoxicated. Just like I don't want to go someplace where I'm paying legitimate money to get whatever service that I'm purchasing and I smell liquor on somebody's breath. That's a problem for me. And I also think that if we legalize marijuana, and I'm not even sure what that would even look like with a Republican-controlled legislature, I think more of what I witnessed, a legitimate business that I've been to, I can't tell you how many times, the last probably 4 or 5 winters and summers where I've gotten my tires changed out from winter to summer, I've gone to Mr. P's because it's relatively close to my house. So, but as of yesterday, I will never go back. Even if the weed man that was smoking the weed is not there anymore, that's etched in my mind, and I won't go back to that business. What the Jewish community does is they practice this thing. It's just a Yiddish word, and I brought this up before. It's called faragin. It means if there's a Jewish person and they're going to a Jewish-owned business and that Jewish-owned business screws up. The service is bad, the quality is bad, the product is bad. That Jewish customer tells the Jewish business, the Jewish entrepreneur, fix it, and I'll come back and buy from you again. And they do. The problem with our business and our businesses is that if we try to practice something and we try to emulate the communities that recycle their dollars, and I'm really big on that. It's one of the reasons why I started the Beyond the Mic event, so that I could connect African Americans with good, solid, decent black business owners so that they can not just make more money and employ more of us, but they can showcase how good they actually are at providing services, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the problems is when we suggest corrective actions to not all of our businesses, but far too many of them, they get upset with us for suggesting the corrective action. If I go to your business and if I complain because something is amiss, as a consumer, I really want you to listen to me, because if I didn't care, I wouldn't say anything. I just would never come back. But the fact that I am saying to you, hey, you need to fix this, this, and this, you fix that, I'm coming back again. But we cannot do that. So I ended up going to Pops and Sons. Oh, they got me straight. Pops and Sons, they got me straight in like 15 minutes. I typically would go to Pops and Sons, but they perform such good work there, right there on Lisbon. So both of these tire places aren't even all that far from each other. Pops and Sons is probably 54th, 53rd in Lisbon, give or take. The reason why I don't go to Pops and Sons is because the line of cars that they have performing different tire services is usually wrapped around the block, and I sometimes don't have that kind of time. So I was terribly disappointed by what I saw at Mr. P's, because I don't want to see somebody smoking marijuana standing in one of the open garage bays, because if this person would have been the one, imagine if he just being high, and the weed was very good, I could tell. It was very potent weed. Glenn is here on my ones and twos until Ricky gets his life together. So we'll wait for Ricky to arrive whenever that is. But the weed was very good. They call it loud because the weed smells so strong you can hear it. And he was just standing, and he's staring at me, the weed smoking man, and I'm staring at him. And then there's a guy at my driver's side window explaining to me, oh, can you come back in a couple of minutes and we'll get your tires changed out. And what's unfortunate is the guy that came up to my window is the same guy that I've been dealing with and all the other times I had gone to Mr. P's. He's a very nice guy. He knows me. I know him. And I told him, I was like, I'm not coming back. And he didn't get it. Like, I think he wanted me to lower my standard to where it's acceptable for someone to be smoking weed in the middle of the day, standing in a garage bay at a place in which I'm getting my tires changed out. You're not touching my car if you're smoking weed. If you miss the jack point, because there's little jack points underneath your vehicle. If you miss one of those, which is very easy to do, by the way, and you put the jack under like a plastic part of my vehicle, or you hit a fuel line or a brake line, now I'm going to get into a car accident and my car might explode because it's leaking fuel because your high ass put the jack in the wrong spot. The fact that the individual who came up to my window didn't see that as a liability makes that place dangerous. Now, I'm not telling you all what to do, but when I say I'll never go back to a place, I'll never go back to Mr. P's on 52nd and Center. Got other things I want to talk about today, including a new take on the state of Mississippi. We sometimes use the state of Mississippi as the butt of a lot of jokes because they are 50th in everything. In fact, there's a Wikipedia page called Thank God for Mississippi. I'm not kidding you, because Mississippi ranks so low in so many categories and so many social indicators that other states are happy that Mississippi exists, because those states are not at the bottom, because Mississippi is. Well, what I'm going to share with you on the other side might give you a different perception of the state of Mississippi, especially when it compares to Wisconsin. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices, and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Victory Garden Initiative is an 1.5-acre urban farm that sits right in the middle of the Black community on Richards and Concordia. I don't know if you know that Harambe is a food desert. So within its borders, there are no major grocery stores. So people rely on things like dollar store, corner stores, liquor stores to buy food, which is all unhealthy. Everything we grow, and we grow everything, tomatoes to potatoes to carrots to corn to onions, and so on. And everything we grow is free to the community. It started in 2009. They wanted to build a sustainable food production system that was healthy and sustainable. And what that meant was giving people the resources to grow their own food and the skills to make sure that those attempts were successful.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
But Glenn, I go easy on the hip hop the first hour or so of my show, and then I may get into more of it as the show progresses. I try and theme the music with the topics, right? Because I'm talking about something really tragic. I'm not going to play Happy by Pharrell, you know what I mean? And also, there are songs that may correspond to a topic, or I may be motivated by something that a caller says. And we have some very colorful callers, or someone may inadvertently say a song lyric, and I'll find the song and then I will incorporate that and make it a part of my show. I did something really creative with the music the other day. There was, so the KKK has rallying songs and songs that symbolize them, that represent them. And one of the songs was called Onward Christian Soldiers. We did a couple of segments actually on the KKK, and a lot of folks may have been unaware. They're a religious and evangelical Christian organization. So when Marjorie Taylor Greene was on my show a few years ago, and she called herself a Christian nationalist, the Klan are also Christian nationalists. Now, the Klan, the tactics that they used at the times exhibited a lot more overt violence, but they would call themselves a Christian nationalist organization as well. They love America. They love their version of America, and they are very much God-fearing. In fact, the Klan burns a cross. Now, I always interpreted that as they were desecrating the symbol of the cross. No, they were actually illuminating the symbol of the cross. So one of the songs that Klan members would sing either at rallies or to open up a Klan meeting is called Onward Christian Soldiers. I had never heard the song before. And so I played Onward Christian Soldiers as a part of my program because I was illustrating a point that this is a song that was used by the Klan. But then there was a Mahalia Jackson version of it as well, Onward Christian Soldiers. And this it perplexes me to no end because the religion that we have and we still cling to, a lot of us cling to as African Americans, and we are still one of the most religious and evangelical racial, cultural, or ethnic groups in this country, and we're also one of the largest. We cling to an evangelical kind of Christianity that is also exhibited by the Klan. And if you go back in American history, who were the plantation owners? Who were buying and selling the slaves? People that were probably affiliated with white nationalism and white supremacy. And so their religion became our religion. We still to this day are considered second-class citizens to them. We are still subverted to this day. We still have disparities to this day. Yet for some reason, both groups worship the same God. I can't square that circle. I can't. And I often wondered, why do Christians hate black people so much when we are probably as or more Christian than them? And these are clearly not questions I'm asking to you all, because I know it creates this incredible dilemma when we are asked to be introspective about our adherence to a God that clearly favors other people more than us, yet for some reason we still cling to it as our primary form of faith. That's not even what I wanted to talk about. All I'm saying is sometimes I don't play hip hop in the morning. That's how that goes. We talk about, race and culture and the nuances of it. It's very complicated. And because things can be complicated in a society like ours, a lot of people don't have the time, the energy, the effort to dedicate themselves to understanding the complications. And they just, either they dismiss it, or they say stuff like, oh, everybody is the same, or oh, I don't see color. They'll say things like, oh, Sherwin, why are you making race such a big deal? When I hear that, I know that I'm talking to someone who just doesn't have the ability to comprehend the complexities of race, let alone race and history. So I just go on and talk about the Bucks or the Brewers, I suppose, because I'm not going to get into any deep philosophical conversations about society, let alone politics with those people. But I have an obligation to explain some of these nuances and some of these things that people may not understand. Because if somebody doesn't understand something, they're going to default to just like conspiracy theories, or they'll default to dismissal. And I cannot very easily accept a society where people fail to understand the complicated critical thinking nature of race and culture, but black people are still dying and suffering from these disparities. So it's for them to dismiss, and it's for me to explain. And this should be a place in which people who want more details, who want to know about all the things they either didn't learn or didn't pay attention to when they were in school, I want this to be a place in which they can hear about those kinds of things. At the center of all of this, of course, is education. I try to provide information so that people can just be better informed. It does not mean for a second anyone is going to change their life, their actions. They're not going to change their behavior. They're not even necessarily going to change how they treat other people. All I'm saying is I'm going to present you the information. What you do with the information is entirely on you. It's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your personality. Some people, once their curiosity is sparked, they become more curious. Other people, when their curiosity gets sparked, they get anxious, because then they realize, wow, there's probably a whole bunch of other stuff I don't know as well. Let me just go on and swim in the pool that is ignorance and bliss. Because not knowing is easy street. If you just are uninformed, I sometimes envy those people, because once you go down the rabbit hole, you realize that it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you realize what you thought you knew was nothing compared to what reality actually is. I talked about this on a previous program. When you have, I shouldn't say when you try to have a conversation with someone about, maybe politics, maybe you're a Kamala Harris supporter, and you're engaged in conversation with someone who is a Donald Trump supporter, and they're so righteous in their viewpoints, and their support for Donald Trump is so strong that there's nothing you can say. There's no evidence, there's no documentation, there's no statistics, there's no data, there's nothing. And you're pulling every trick out the hat to try and get this person to see a different perspective, and they can't. Couple of reasons. They're not going to believe anything you say because it's coming from you. They've already identified you as someone who is on the complete opposite of their spectrum. And no matter what you say, no matter how good it sounds, no matter how much sense it makes, they're never going to to believe it because it's coming from you. So there's that. But then there's this other thing. And there's no politically correct way to say this. There are some people that are so unintelligent. They're so unintelligent that they're too unintelligent to know that they're unintelligent. Really, the word I use when I describe that person is dumb. There are some people that are so dumb, they're too dumb to know that they're dumb. Therefore, they think that they're smart because they're not smart enough to realize that they're actually dumb. They're so ignorant that they can't see their own ignorance. Replay that in your mind a couple of times if it doesn't make sense. There are some people that are so dumb, they're not smart enough to know they're dumb. And therefore, they think their version of smart is actually smart, but their version of smart is actually dumb. This one comes from Education Daily. Mississippi can't possibly have good schools. I'm just going to give you the title. I'm going to take a break. I'll come back. I'm going to talk about how Mississippi is not as bad as you think, number one. Number two, when it comes to educating black children, Wisconsin is performing worse than Mississippi, and Wisconsin gets double-digit percentages more money to educate black children than Mississippi. The point I've been trying to prove with education here, which I get into a lot of arguments with people because they fail to understand something because it hurts us as black people. It hurts us to think that white people don't care about black children. We try to see humanity where none exists. We try to see it, and it breaks our hearts because we cannot, for a million years, conceptualize, well, why don't they love our babies? Because our babies grow up to compete with them. So don't worry, we're going to discuss it on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice, and it's Steinhaffel's Memorial Day mattress sale. Save up to $900 on select adjustable base sets, plus get up to $300 in Steinhaffel's cash. And take advantage of Steinhaffel's special 60-month financing. You can get a Queen Tempur-Pedic mattress for only $48 per month, a Beauty Rest Black mattress for only $36 per month, and an Avocado mattress for only $26 per month. Steinhaffel's is Wisconsin's mattress leader. Shop in-store or online at Steinhaffel's.com.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
As I reflect on my journey, I'm reminded of God's blessings and guidance. I've been fortunate enough to accomplish some remarkable feats, including walking 750 miles from Milwaukee to Washington, D.C. in honor of the Civil Rights Movement. I also walked against violence from Milwaukee to Chicago and back for 7 consecutive years. My feet are still recovering, but my spirit remains strong. I've been privileged to advocate for victims of police brutality, search for missing persons, and participate in numerous protests. Last year, I was honored to visit the White House with my colleagues from 101.7 The Truth to discuss pressing issues in the black community with the Biden administration. Throughout my broadcasting career, I've received several first-place Wisconsin Broadcast Association awards for The Tory Lowe Show. I've also had the opportunity to be part of ESPN 94.5's Packer pregame show at Lambeau Field. As I look back, I am grateful for the incredible journey. Salute to my brothers and sisters on the front lines. And thank you for your tireless efforts and dedication. We're in this together, and I could not have done anything without the love and support of my community. I want to remind you to keep pushing forward, stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel. Green don't always mean go, and look both ways before you cross the street. And always look out for one another. In 2025, we still got a lot of work to do. God bless you, and I love you.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We've somewhat changed subjects. I want to talk about the funding disparity between us and Mississippi. Mississippi gets less money to educate black children than Wisconsin does, yet Wisconsin is trailing behind in the national assessment, which is completely unacceptable. But it explains something better than I can. Just like Donald Trump being president a second time is the best civics lesson that we could ever learn, because it's more practical than anything you ever would have learned in school or anything that you thought you knew about how politics works and about how the government works and the branches of government, et cetera, et cetera. In a nutshell, the appearance of black children performing poorly, the appearance of black children performing poorly in school is a cash grab, because you can say, we need more money because look at the blacks, they can't read. If you give us more money, we can do stuff. We can hire people. We can add things for the black kids. And the public is like, oh, sure, here you go. Or the federal government through the U.S. Department of Education. Oh, you guys need more grants? Here you go. Here's some more grants. Or you can just say, hey, public, we need a referendum because, look at the black kids, they can't read. Give us $250 million and we'll help them read. And then lo and behold, we say, sure, here's the money, and then the black kids still can't read. If improving black literacy means less money, why would you improve black literacy? Just from an objective standpoint, if white teachers, principals, and administrators don't send their kids to NPS, and NPS is where the reading proficiency is low and the math proficiency is low, and the fact that those numbers are low is job security for those that work there and don't send their kids there, what is their motivation to improve it? Now, that goes counter and contrary to the morality that I think that black people have inherently, because we're moral people. We don't always act that way, but I think that we're moral. That if we were black teachers, administrators, and principals, and our student body was white, we would treat those children like our own. Mostly because we're a conquered people. And so before you get angry about that, let me explain something. We would teach white children with all of our might, because those white children, when they grow up, they may remember us. They may talk about the great experiences they had learning from black educators. They may go into the world and do some good for black people, because we want to show, and this is all hypothetical, we would show those white children the best of who we are, so when they grow up, they can fight white supremacy from a position that we cannot, by them being white, okay? We would give those white kids the best education they could possibly get, because they may hire us one day. We would give those white kids the best education they could possibly get, because we may be applying for a loan for a mortgage through one of them. Do you see how that works? White people are under zero obligation to educate our kids, because white folks are failing if they have to go to a black bank to get a loan. They're failing if they got to apply to a black-owned business to get a job. So there is no intrinsic motivation for them to educate us, because they don't ever see us in a position that is higher in status than them. So why would they waste their time? So if uneducated black kids gets more money, NPS budget is $81,000 a year per teacher. It's not bad. Now, starting teachers are somewhere around 43 grand, but you also can get your master's degree paid for. You can get your PhD paid for, and you can make damn near six figures. In fact, there probably are some classroom teachers, certainly administrators and principals, that are deep into the six figures off of the backs of our kids having low performance on test scores. And so what does that mean for our community? I think you guys know. It means that the negative social indicators are going to persist because when education levels are low, they tend to remain that way, and a community will be reflective of it. They are not motivated to educate our kids. I just need people to understand that. Then once we all understand that, then we can start thinking about solutions and policy objectives. Let's talk to Steve from Greenfield. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you, Steve from Greenfield?
Hey, Sherwin. Excuse me. I call in. I agree with you 99% of the time on various topics, and I even called in to chime in on your agreement dead on. But this one, I'd have to wholeheartely disagree with you, and if I may, please hold your thoughts until I explain.
Let's do it.
I've had numerous teachers, white, black, pink, purple, that are in the MPS, and they say, not just white teachers that live in Whitefish Bay that teach in MPS, so they want to teach these minorities, bleeding heart liberal type stuff that you're angling toward, is they say the most problems they have is, especially if a white teacher is altruistic and want to teach all people, just like a doctor has to treat all people, like my dad would do in the prisons and everything else, teach all people, that she would say, most of the black parents would say, no effing white bee is going to tell me what to do with the kids, but then when comes parent-teachers conference for some feedback, they never show up. That's point number one. Point number two is I do remodeling and projects, and I used to do projects years ago. No, I don't know about 20 years from now, 2024, 25. I did it in the early 2000s where I did a lot of remodeling for the vulture private schools, and 99% of them were owned, operated, taught, administered by black for black. Ask me, where do 99.999% of the administrators, teachers, to take their kids to school? So it's not a white thing where they don't care. It's that a lot
Steve,
of the feedback you get from
99? I got to ask this question: where do 99.99% of the teachers send their kids?
Some of them send them to. I can name them off. University school.
Yeah, private schools.
Private schools, and I've had one. I'm not going to mention names. Who's the son of a ex-Milwaukee Buck, who clearly has the money since he was born, which is fine, whatever. Where do you think he sends his kids?
To private schools. So we agree on that. I'm trying to figure out where our disagreement is. So you got to keep in mind some of the Steve, hold on. Some of the voucher schools that you're referring to that are owned or that are run by black administrators receive about a third of the funding as a traditional public school. But if you're looking at something like the university school where the tuition is either $20,000 a semester or $20,000 a year, you can't compare that to a voucher school that gets $6,500 per kid per year. They're not the same. I agree.
But my point is that the students, the administrators that own these schools, where do they send their kids to? They don't send them back to the same school they're teaching at. They send them to private, voucher, expensive schools. Now, I can't say all or never, you know how that goes. But when you talk about, well, these white teachers or white side doesn't want to have no vested interest in the black kids, why don't you ask yourself or the community a little bit at large that how about the input that the black parents or the black students do time and time again?
Steve,
they're the lowest producing students. You have the numerous factors. I get it.
Wait. This is not going to be a monologue. It's going to be a dialogue. When was the last? When did you graduate from high school, Steve? When did you complete high school?
Hang on for a second. 84.
Oh, Steve, you're so incredibly disconnected that the world of education right now was nothing even remotely close to when you were going to school. In 1984, I bet you half or more. Steve, don't make me hit the button. Steve, when you were either a student at MPS back in the 1980s, I bet you half or more of those schools, MPS schools, were probably still majority white. They probably still had the trades in them, I'd imagine, Steve. Here's what I would challenge you to do. I want you to go to an MPS school board meeting, because you clearly have opinions on education, and I'm glad that you do. And I want you to listen to the parents that show up at MPS school board meetings with a school board that is controlled by the union, and when black parents who are legitimately concerned about their kids' education, instead of the black parents you may be familiar with that are calling the teachers F&Bs and all this other stuff, you listen to how school board members who are elected by this community cut off black parents when they're trying to talk. They limit black parents in what they can even say when they attend a school board meeting, because they are, in fact, concerned about the education of your children. So if you're going to have those opinions, by all means, we'd love to hear them. But also, you have to do a much better job of educating yourself of what the current state of education is right now. MPS was a white school district, Steve. And the other thing we can't do is we have this actor-observer bias. If you only want to see the worst acting black people, that is what you're going to remember. You will not remember nor prioritize when black people are actually invested and care about the education of their children, because that goes counter to your internal understanding of black people and our kids' education. And also, he lives in Greenfield. He lives disconnected and detached. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back. We're going to get back on the subject matter of Mississippi. Their black children are outperforming those here in Wisconsin. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Ready to join the fun? With Girl Scouts Extended Year Membership from Girl Scouts,
you can sign up by June 30th and get up to 18 months of adventure through September 30th, 2026.
Girls starting kindergarten or first grade in 2025 will also receive 3 Get Ready with Girl Scouts activity books,
featuring games, crafts, and stories the whole family will love, for free. Plus, you'll even get a special gift from the Girl Scouts. Join today and get ready to grow, explore, and shine with Girl Scouts.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So there's been some discussion about Mr. P's tires. Somebody said that they are black owned. Are individual locations black owned? I think we got the answer to that question, because the one that's on National Avenue, I highly doubt that's a black owner, but I think somebody did get to the details about Mr. P. So here's what I know about, I don't know if it was the original Mr. P or Ron Pachevsky. Am I saying that right? Pachevsky, who owned a bar and a brothel, ran a brothel, got in trouble, sold the bar, and opened Mr. P's Tires. He has since passed, and apparently a son and friend own and run the business. They are not black. All right. So there's a restaurant called Pistol Pete's. It's in Brookfield, but just barely in Brookfield. It's like 170th in Lisbon, way out there. So if you take Lisbon past where you shouldn't take Lisbon, if you just keep going, there's a restaurant called Pistol Pete's. Now here's the thing about Pistol Pete's. Best pizza I've ever had. It's weird how some of the best foods sometimes are in the most obscure places. Well, many, many years ago, a friend of mine was a server at Pistol Pete's, because people go out there for the pizza, and they travel far for the pizza. Now, I'm not recommending you go out there. I'm just saying, she used to bring me the pizza. She's like, oh, Sherwin, we got real good pizza out here. I was like, oh, tell me more. She's like, oh, when I get off work, I'll bring you some pizza, okay? So that's how I know about Pistol Pete's. So she's served either the original Mr. P or the son. So this would have been 2003, 2004, 2005, okay? Whoever the owner of Mr. P's was at that time, I don't know if it was the original Mr. P or family ownership, because they made it known that a bunch of the employees or owners or managers of Mr. P's, this is 20 plus years ago, would go to Pistol Pete's and get pizza. And she said they use the N-word routinely, and not using it as a term of endearment, using it to refer to African Americans and African American customers. This was many, many years ago, though. So I disconnected that from the Mr. P's that's on 52nd and Center that has all black employees that would change my winter tires out and my summer tires out twice a year. But now this is all starting to make a hell of a lot more sense to me now. All right. And Millicent, let me get back to, clearly we're not going to talk about Mississippi and Wisconsin, Mississippi outperforming Wisconsin when it comes to educating black kids until hour 2, because we just have other distractions going on. Millicent said, why do I need 2 types of tires when I don't even have a title or a car insurance? Is that, that's not you admitting that, Millicent. Is that you being sarcastic? You don't have, having multiple sets of tires is, I would say, more important than having multiple pairs of shoes. Ladies, if you only have one set of shoes, you got some high top Nikes. There's only one set of shoes. Are you wearing those out to dinner, to a job interview? Are you wearing those in the snow? You know what I mean? So because there's different conditions. And also, tires are expensive, and depending upon how long you drive a vehicle for, you're going to go through tires. If you buy 2 sets of tires, you may have 100,000 miles, 120,000 miles worth of tires. So if you keep a vehicle that long, you've already replaced your tires, because my summer tires are only on, well, I'll just put them on now. They'll be on until about the weekend of Thanksgiving is when I'll put my winter tires back on. So how many months that is? About 6 months, right? Yeah. And then my winter tires come off in end of April, early May. So that's 6 months. So I'm only putting half the miles on each set of tire per year, which is extending the amount of time. Like by the time I got to replace both sets of tires, I absolutely will not have this vehicle anymore. But also, once you notice the performance difference, when you put a dedicated winter tire on your vehicle, even if there's no snow, when the air is cold and the concrete is cold, you have less traction on a summer tire. And plus, all season tires are garbage. There's no tire that can perform optimally in all weather conditions. You need a dedicated winter tire. And here's the other thing for these folks to say, oh, I got four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive don't help you slow down. It does not. The tires are the only part of your vehicle that touch the ground, and something else. Some of you have tire pressure warnings and indicators on your vehicles. A lot of you don't. You know you should be checking your tire pressure regularly, because every 10 degrees, the air temperature goes up or down. You lose or gain a PSI in tire pressure. And that can cause not just unsafe driving conditions, but unnecessary wear on your tires. And again, this is the only part of your vehicle that touches the ground, so that's the most important part. I swear there's no subject that we won't tackle here on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll talk about your tires and talk about Steve from Greenfield, trying to make some kind of a point about blaming black parents. And I'm not going to explain the behavior of black parents that are very, very frustrated. I'm also not going to explain the behavior of black parents that also were victimized by the same school system that is getting more money, gets more grants, and gets more referendum dollars by undereducating black people, because undereducated black people go on and become adults and have kids. And some of that anger and some of their frustration is living in a system that makes no sense to them because they were never intentionally educated to understand the system. So it's a perpetual state of discontent and anger that you see from a lot of black people, because there's a system that exists outside of our understanding, because the people that we trusted to teach us about it didn't. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Coming with straight truth.
The same people that's against Carmelo Anthony for what his situation looked like have been for white people that have taken stances for situations like this. I guess his color don't match. A lot of people pointing that out, the hypocrisy. But if this person was white, hey, we have plenty of examples of it. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Carrie, where's Tory Lowe and Dr. Ken at? I'm trying to knock these commercials out.
How am I supposed to know, Sherwin?
Well, I'm about to do their parts because my impressions are on point anyway. This is Dr. Ken Harris from Truth in the Afternoon, and I want you to download the Truth app in the Google Play Store and Apple Store so you can never miss my show or any of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Really, Kyle?
Sherwin, you are crazy.
Sherwin, your impression of me is horrible. Move. Give me my mic. I guess I'll just repeat what Sherwin said. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Store to download the 1017 The Truth app today so you can take the home of Milwaukee Black Talk with you wherever you are.
Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. Locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Oh, Craig got his angry pants on today. He said, no one cares about Mr. P's tires. We got other way more pressing issues to worry about than Mr. P's. Craig, you missed the point, or you tuned in late. Both are your fault. It was what was exhibited at a black-owned business in a black community as to why I won't return. But then black-owned business is like, oh, how come nobody supports us? But we over here trying to tell you. That's what that was about. And then people, of course, will go down any kind of research rabbit hole they can, because the unique thing about doing talk radio or any kind of mass media in this day and age is that people will immediately Google and chat GPT and fact check you in real time. And if I bring up a subject that people may not be familiar with, a lot of intellectually curious people will start to research that subject so they can be much more informed on something that they probably never considered before. So that's where the conversation on Mr. P's came in. And Craig, I do agree that we have more pressing issues to deal with, but we try to deal with all of them at the same time because we can walk and chew gum. Now, somebody also said that Steve from Greenfield, who called a little while ago, said that he has no business blaming black parents. He can if that's his opinion. And let me say this to back Steve up on it. We blame white parents. Yes, we do. Of course we blame white parents, don't we? For the lack of discipline of their children, for how their children act, for how their children present themselves, how their children are the next generation of racists. So yes, we blame white parents. And white people are going to blame black parents. It's one of the beautiful things about living in harmony here in the United States. We each blame one another. From Education Daily, painting the Deep South as an embarrassing cultural backwater is one of the last socially acceptable forms of prejudice among elites. It's not just tolerated, it's in fact venerated. Mississippi is probably the top target. You know about the poor health outcomes, the poverty, the corruption, the obesity, the Confederate stuff that Mississippi is known for. In fact, Wikipedia has an entry dedicated to the phrase, quote, "Thank God for Mississippi, because its horrible performance on so many metrics saves other states the embarrassment of finishing in last place." The term has been used since at least 1945, which has made it awkward in recent years as Mississippi has become the fastest improving school system in the country. That's right, Mississippi. In 2003, only Washington, D.C. had more fourth graders in the lowest achievement level on our national reading test, which is the NAEP, than Mississippi. By 2024, only 4 states had fewer. When the Urban Institute adjusted national test results for student demographics, here's where Mississippi ranked. This is the state of Mississippi now. Fourth grade math, Mississippi first. Fourth grade reading, Mississippi first. 8th grade math, first. 8th grade reading, the state of Mississippi, 4th. They are in the top of the entire country. Now, here's the thing. They also had the most improvement to make And they did. Not only did they make the most improvements from being the lowest performing school, they're now in the top. Milwaukee can only envy these numbers. And your district got a couple of things. You got a couple of new school board members. You got a new superintendent. And you got $252 million more dollars to get Wisconsin even remotely black children in Wisconsin to get even remotely close to where Mississippi is. 91% of black fourth graders in MPS essentially can read. Wrong. 9%. 91% are not proficient. So our numbers are completely reversed from that of Mississippi. How about black students? The root of Mississippi's bad reputation is its historically awful record on civil rights, including its refusal to integrate schools. That was then. Now it has a different story to tell. Black students in Mississippi posted the third highest fourth grade reading scores in America. They walloped their counterparts in better funded states. The average black student in Mississippi performed 1.5 grade levels ahead of the average black student in Wisconsin. Did you hear that? That hurts to read. It hurts to actually read that. The average black student in Mississippi performed 1.5 grade levels ahead of the average black student in Wisconsin. You're all very smart people. Why do you think that is? At this point, so since 2020, 5 years, the district has asked for about $340 million, like $349 million in the last 5 years. Mississippi does not fund education nearly at the level that Wisconsin does, because they're telling us, the powers that be, the school board, DPI, and y'all just reelected Jill Underly, that if they got more money, that they would improve the outcomes for black students. They got more money twice, and they're going to ask for more money a third time. Probably by 2027, certainly by 2028, MPS is going to ask for another referendum, and it'll probably pass. But you explain this to me. With the money they've already received, and the shuffling and the reorganizing and the reallocating that they've done to really prioritize student achievement, for them to ask for this money and black students to still be 1.5 grades lower than black kids in Mississippi has got to be intentional. I've just long been saying, whether you believe it or not is not up to me, it's up to you. There's no interest in educating black kids, because if you have poorly educated black kids, you can continue to ask for more money.
That's what I do.
Oh, wait a minute now. Let me pick the phone up first before you start talking now. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
No, I was talking to somebody else.
Take us off speaker. Take us off speaker.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I am. Okay, listen. What we're going to have to do is, everybody whose kids aren't doing well in the system, y'all need to be moving to Mississippi. Y'all going to have to move, take them taxes, and go on and go. Isn't that a good idea?
You know what it is? Because the cost of living in the South is
it's
so
cheaper,
much lower.
And they don't have no lead laterals. They don't have lead laterals. Now, I venture to say,
I mean, they've got well water with arsenic in it, but that's whatever. That's fine.
That's okay. There's no lead. I'm telling you, we should be seeing 28 U-Hauls every month leaving, going to Mississippi. And then we'll have a good school district. Y'all take all them kids to Mississippi and then see how that works. How about that? Can we do that?
I think your suggestion has been duly noted. You know, in the last 20 years, there have been a lot of black folks leaving the Midwest and Wisconsin for Texas, for Mississippi. That's right. They're going back down south. Yep. You're correct.
Yep. And you know what? All of them can go. All of those immigrants we got in the 80s, they should go on and keep going. Going back down south.
When you say immigrants we got in the 80s, who are you referring to? You're not talking about people from Guatemala, I'm assuming.
No, I'm talking about people who kind of look like the people on the north side. If all of them would take their kids and go on back to Mississippi, all the little kids that ain't learning, you know how they say, my kid can't read, my kid can't this, go to Mississippi. And it'll be much better for you. They probably even got jobs for you.
Millicent, it sounds like you're trying to send black people away. It sounds like you're trying to deport
Not
them.
black people.
Not black
the
people.
others.
The others.
Not the black people. The others. Yes. And if they took all their kids, they won't have to worry about lead. They won't have to worry. None of that. Everything that they say negative about Milwaukee is not in Mississippi. Go.
All right.
Go. And that's the thing I don't ever get. People always talk about Milwaukee and how bad it is, but I never see y'all leaving.
What if they can't leave though, Millicent? You know it costs money to pack up and relocate. You got to find a job down there, so it's not just easy to have people be deported.
But you find money. You find money for your nails, for your hair, for your weed. You find it for everything else. You find your weed, your car with no car insurance.
That sounds really racist.
You find it for every. No, I'm just making facts. Y'all, if you would move, take your kids to somewhere better. It's so bad here. It's nothing here for you. There's no jobs. All we do is poison your kids with the lead. They not doing nothing for the north side. It's so go to Mississippi.
Wait a minute, Mississippi might not want them.
That's what I'm saying. I bet those school scores will go down then.
Thank you, Millicent, for your public service announcement trying to deport black people. That sounded very racist. Didn't it sound racist? Because if a white person said that, well, if you don't like it up here, you can take your black ass down to Mississippi where you're from. It sounded racist, but when a black person says it, it's different. Mississippi has fellow Southern stars. Louisiana was the only state in the country to fully erase pandemic learning loss among fourth grade readers. Louisiana ranked in the top 5 for all NAEP grades/subjects in the demographically adjusted results. Alabama was the only state whose fourth grade readers beat their pre-COVID performance in math. Alabama? What? In years past, notable gains have been posted by Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. They don't invest as much in public education in the South, but they do invest more in charter and religious schools. So there's a diversity. Tennessee, I can speak for specifically and personally. So when parents either go online or if they receive the booklet that shows all of the schools that are open and rolling for the upcoming school year, right? They used to receive a booklet. Now I'd imagine they probably can go online. There did not used to be a distinction. So they would have this name of the school, the location of the school, details about the attendance area, is busing available? They have all that. But then there'd be a detail about the description of the curriculum. And parents could read the description of the curriculum, where the school is located. If a parent needed, busing services, they could get all that information. But what was not designated, and I don't know if they designate it now, was whether it was a public school, a charter school, or a private school. Now, I'd imagine a parent can probably decipher which delivery system it was based upon what the curriculum was, but the states would fund these educational options the same way, and the parents would just choose based upon the curriculum that they wanted for their child. We don't do that here. We overfund public education and we underfund other delivery systems. And then we tell the public, see, these charter schools aren't performing as well. See, these parental choice and or voucher schools aren't performing as well. Well, they're also getting less money. No, but it makes sense, though, because the public school teachers are unionized. And part of their fight and their union membership is to get the highest wages possible, not to improve the outcomes for your kids. It is to get the highest wages. And the example I can use is I can make it personal. If MPS is they got to be getting close to $20,000 a kid. And that's what the average is per child that goes to MPS. So a school that has 100 kids is getting $2 million, right? If I made it personal, if you made $200,000 a year, imagine the lifestyle that you would have. No dependents, no kids, just you, $200,000 a year. The house you'd have, the car you'd have, the investments you'd have, the travel, the restaurants you would go to, the clothes you would wear, the car you would drive, the snow tires you would have, right? If you had $200,000. Now, what if I then slash your salary to $20,000? Could I expect you to have the same amenities and perform the same way and get the same level of service and the same level of health care if you're making $20,000? Of course not. So why do we expect schools that are underfunded to perform on the same level as schools that I'm going to call overfunded? And they're overfunded because you've got states in the South that are outperforming Wisconsin, and we're investing more money. Mississippi has fellow Southern stars. Louisiana was the only state to fully erase pandemic learning loss among fourth graders. It ranked in the top 5 for all 4 NAEP grades/subjects in the demographically adjusted results. The National Center for Educational Statistics puts out the report card annually, the National Assessment of Educational Progress. So when you hear NAEP, National Assessment for Educational Process or Progress, rather, that is what we're referring to. These successes have not been wholly unacknowledged. They have been dutifully and perfunctorily name-checked, rather, in news stories. Nonetheless, there has been, shall we say, a reluctance among national voices to extol Deep South examples as worthy of immolation by their so-called better-off peers. Take a break there. Come back and continue the conversation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Eric Name joins Marcus and Chris for an off-season Bucks conversation. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need the $100 hookup. This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the $100 hookup. And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I could start a riot.
If you don't have children and you're young-ish and have money and make money, Milwaukee's a great place. If you live downtown somewhere, you got you a condo on the river in the 3rd Ward. Oh my God, this is a great place. Look at all just the entertainment options that you have. Look at all the fun. You got food truck parks and a public market and a 3rd Street Market Hall, and you got the night market. We got a market for your ass in Milwaukee, don't we? We got all sorts of markets. If you don't like T-Pain, you can go to State Fair. You can go to the Milwaukee Mile. You can do all sorts of things here. But if you have children and you don't have a lot of money to educate them privately, then this place looks very different. But if you are single with no kids, you know what Milwaukee is good for? A gay couple. A gay couple, both with 6-figure incomes, that don't have kids but have just like a dog, like a chihuahua and a poodle. Perfect city for you. Because the amenities that we offer, I mean, just look at the summertime culture here. And we have the lake. Oh, they moved the boat. You know what it was? There was the boat that was stuck over by Bradford Beach. Deep Thought is what they called the boat. Y'all know about the boat? It had spray paint and graffiti on it, and it was stuck because the owners of the boats just said, screw it. We're going to leave our boat here, and the boat has been there for like a year. They removed the boat. But if you go out to Bradford Beach on a 90-degree day in June or July, oh, it looks like a beach in Southern California, don't you? Got people out there in their bikinis, in their one-piece bathing suits. Got a couple guys wearing Speedos, and people are in the water. People are parasailing, aren't they? They're in the canoes. People canoe up and down the river. I don't canoe. People have asked me to go canoeing. No, thank you. I don't want to canoe. No, thank you. I've got friends that have boats. I sometimes go out on my friend's boat. Oh, it's a wonderful place if you're gay or straight and have no children. Kanye West just came out as gay. Did you guys hear about that? He said he's gay now. I don't know if typically if a black man says he's gay, everybody is quick to believe them because for some reason everybody wants to gay up black men. But when Kanye said it, I think he's one of the only black men in America that can come out as gay and people not believe him because they think he's more crazy than gay. But then I think I try not to follow Kanye because I want to keep my scruples because if I follow him, I think I'll go crazier than I am. I think he was remarking on gay privilege, which, I mean, I guess being a minority does get you attention because you get to complain about stuff pretty freely. And if you're a minority, you can always say negative things about the majority, and the majority will essentially let you say whatever you want about them. Like as a black person, I can say all sorts of stuff about white people, and I oftentimes do. But if a white person says something similar about me, they'll lose their job. They'll get canceled, won't they? So maybe Kanye was remarking on gay privilege. Maybe being gay is the flex nowadays. You know what else is? And I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way or get mad at me. There are some people that, because now we have a more broader picture of the autism spectrum. It's broad now. It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum disorder. You can have a little bit, just like a sprinkle of autism, or you can have a lot of it. Elon Musk, as a matter of fact, he's a high-functioning person on the spectrum. He's got Asperger's syndrome, which means you got a little taste of the autisms, but you still can, I don't know, be a racist, work in the White House, and build rockets and electric cars. So he's got high-functioning autism. But I don't want to call this person out because they might be listening. They worked in corporate America, and they had a great resume. And they performed their job, I guess, well, but they They were diagnosed as being on a spectrum. This is a little side note to our education conversation. Don't worry. I'm going to get back to Mississippi outpacing Wisconsin in just a second. But when I met this person, they introduced themselves. They told me who they were, where they were from, what they did, blah, 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 all that other stuff. But then they also led with, oh, I'm on the spectrum. I have whatever. It's almost like she was like, I'm a 3rd degree black belt autistic. She said, oh no, I do this because I'm on the spectrum. It's like she used it as a flex, and I didn't know how to respond to it. I don't know if she did it to get sympathy, to get attention, because I noticed nothing different save for behaviors that any of us would find unusual in a business or professional setting, but we couldn't say anything about her behaviors because she led with the fact that she had a unique brand of spectrum disorder that allowed her to do stuff that was, when I say weird, not fitting for a corporate environment. But every other part of her was just, and I don't want to use regular and normal because I know that that's probably politically incorrect, but I couldn't distinguish her from anybody else in a particular working environment. But she used the fact and led with the fact. It's almost like she wants people to know not just who she is as a person, but also, oh, by the way, you're going to see me do a bunch of stuff, but don't say anything about it because I have like green belts, 3rd degree autism spectrum. So you need to respect that about me. I was like, yo, whatever you say. Just like if somebody tells me their pronouns, to the extent that I can remember them, it's hard enough for me to remember your name. If I also have to remember your name and then your preferred pronouns, you're asking a lot of me right now. First of all, your name is, if I can remember that, because usually I don't know people's names, and I feel real bad because people come up to me when I'm like, oh, hey, Sherwin, how you doing? I'm like, if I don't know your name, here's what I do. I'll point and smile. I'm like, hey, I'll point at you. I'm like, okay, now. All right, then. You good? How are you? All right, now. It's been a while. And I just make a bunch of nondescript small talk. And I apologize. I can't know everybody's name. Maybe that puts me on the spectrum a little bit because the spectrum is very broad and there's room for everybody on it. But I just found it unusual that this person that I know made sure that everyone knows. Like when she introduces herself, she said, oh, by the way, I have green belt 3rd degree autism spectrum disorder. So if you see me wearing socks that don't match and a shoe as a glove, that's why. And you can't say anything about that because that'll get you in trouble. So if you just see the person wearing socks that don't match and they're wearing a Nike on their left hand, you got to accept them. Let me do a side note here. Since I'm complaining, I went to Jersey Mike's on Sunday and give me a sandwich. And I saw 2 women. The race doesn't matter. If you were of a certain age, you left presentable when you left the house. You looked presentable. A lot of us are very familiar with that concept. It doesn't matter where you're going. If you're walking somewhere, if you have a destination, if you're getting in a car, you got errands to run, at the very least, you are to look presentable. And so I'm reminded of this because I was just talking about people not wearing matching socks. So there were 2 women in the Jersey Mike's, and they were wearing, both of them were dressed similarly sloppy. Both of them were wearing slides. Both of them were wearing socks. One of them, of course, their socks didn't match. Is that a trend now with the young people that you don't match your socks? Why not? I got to wear matching socks around the house. If I'm doing laundry and if I don't have all of my pairs of socks, I'm like, uh-oh, because I don't like having, if I lose a sock, I got to throw away the other sock, right? So I'll never wear unmatching socks. If I got a gold toe, I got to find another gold toe. If I got the socks with the gray toe and the gray heel, then I got to find the other sock with the gray toe and the gray heel. So I'm at the Jersey Mike's. And these 2 women, they're both wearing slides. One of them is wearing socks that doesn't match. The other one is wearing socks that were dirty. They both were wearing pajama pants. They both were wearing hoodies, and they both were wearing bonnets. I was disgusted by that. I was disgusted by the fact that they don't care how they present themselves to the world. And I don't know how to conceptualize that, because I'm going to use black women as an example now. I'm not saying that those women were black. You can fill in whatever race you want, because there's people of any race and any nationality that can go out of the house looking disgusting and sloppy. I come from an era and a generation where black women wouldn't leave the house unless their hair was done. Listen to me. They wouldn't go to the post office to drop off a letter in a mailbox if their hair was not at least presentable. Or they would, I don't know, put it in a ponytail or something. I don't know what they used to do. But I can remember the conversations that the black women would have in my family. And so I also come from an era when, the men would sit at one table and the women sat in the kitchen. And every now and again, if you go into the kitchen, you get an earful of what the women were talking about. But as a little boy, I didn't want to be in the kitchen with the women. I had no interest being in the kitchen with the women. I wanted to sit at the table with my daddy, with my uncles, with my brother, and with my male cousins. Now, I can tell, this is no judgment against some of y'all. Some of y'all boys grew up sitting at the woman's table. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but as you get advanced in age and in life, what I come to find out is that grown women don't want a man that grew up sitting at the women's table. Grown women want a man that grew up passing through the kitchen when the women are sitting at the women's table, but they want a man that sat at the men's table. It's very ironic. But I can recall a time where black women, you didn't, if you had a 5-minute errand to run, you'll spend 30 minutes on your hair just to be out in public for 5 minutes. Like what I see now, it's just, what happened? What happened? Because there was a time in which we were the presentation. And black people, we still lead. Our fashion gets stolen. We still are cutting edge. We still are taste makers and trendsetters, but clearly not all of us. And I weep. I weep for the fact that those people don't even know how bad it is when you don't care. When you leave the house, you're presenting yourself to the world. And I know you're not supposed to judge somebody by how they look. Really? If I see an emergency and I see somebody wearing a police officer's uniform and I say, hey, police, there's an emergency right here. And that person says, I'm not a cop. How dare you think I'm a cop just because I'm dressed like one? When somebody leaves the house and they present themselves to the world, you're making an intentional and conscious decision to show yourself to the world in this fashion. So I have to make it a value judgment about you. I'm going to take a break, come back, take a couple of telephone calls at 833-212-1017. I just was so sad that people would leave the house looking that way. And here's the thing. Do you know that they dress better than that any other place that they go? Because here's what's crazy. If people don't care about how they look, how come they don't wear that to the club? Do they wear bonnets to the club? Do they wear pajama pants and dirty socks and slides to the club? They do not. Maybe we should just treat everywhere like the club. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I walk on the shoulders of giants who have come before me.
I am grateful for those who changed yesterday.
But I live in today.
And I pledge I will help shape tomorrow.
Milwaukee College Prep Scholars honor Black History Month, not just during February, but each and every day they walk through the door, preparing for a better life for themselves and the world around them. Enroll your scholar for the 2025-26 school year at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jackson Churio Star Wars Night bauble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers Cribbage Board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at Brewers.com.
Today's Making Your Money Work is presented by Associated Bank, and right now I am excited to be joined by Ashley Lucas. Ashley Lucas, how are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, and I am excited. We are so close to the holidays. How are you?
I'm doing really good, too. I'm excited to be speaking with you because, you know, the work that you and Associated Bank do is incredible. So I want to get right into it. So in what ways does Associated Bank support small businesses?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the kudos. We really take it to heart here to ensure that we're helping the businesses in our community, those local business owners that are working hard, you know, to help the people that, you know, live and work in the Milwaukee area. So one of the biggest things we have here is we have not only certified branch managers and colleagues, but also a small business relationship manager team that's able to assist a business, whether they're just starting out, they need their first loan, they're looking to retire, they're wondering, you know, how to manage their day-to-day operations with their finances. And I think that's really important because, you know, having that go-to person that you can contact no matter, you know, what questions you have is really, really, really important to business owners.
So how can people get in touch with you? I know they're interested at this point.
We have something also really cool at Associated Bank. Anyone can go into any one of our local branches. We have business certified colleagues there that are able to help. Or if you're like me and you see the snow coming down today and you're like, nope, I want to stay in my jammies and at home, we have a virtual relationship manager hotline, and anyone can call whether they're a customer or not. They're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and their number is 1-800-270-7725.
Thank you so much, Ashley Lucas. We always have such a good time.
Making your money work on the award-winning 1017 The Truth is sponsored by Associated Bank. Your money works here. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
833-212-1017 is our telephone number. Let's talk to Hello, Sharice.
Hey, Sherwin. Yeah, I was just thinking about what you were saying about the socks, and I'm like, well, it's a lot of stuff that I see, like, that I know, like, I would never, like, I can't imagine wearing like a bonnet because my parents never would have let me out. And then, like, I also installed that to my kids, like, you can't go out like that. And what I told my kids is, like, just like Nike is marketing a brand, you're marketing a brand. You don't want to do anything to hurt your brand. You never know if you're going to walk past a potential person that might hire you, or just you just never know who you're going to share space with. So you want to go out in your best. And so that's in my kids, that's in me, because there's no, like, your parents wouldn't even let you out the house. You know, you're getting ready. Okay, we're leaving. If you even came anywhere near the door with a bonnet or, you know, socks or pajama pants, or now the kids are not even wearing coats, they're wearing blankets. What? They're looking like they just climbed out of bed, and it's like, wait, what's going on here?
Hang on a second, Sharice.
And it's just,
I saw somebody in the last couple of weeks, they were waiting for the bus, and they literally were wrapped up in a blanket, and I thought it was a homeless person. Are you telling me that this is some kind of a trend?
No,
where they don't
it's a trend. It's a thing. They just wear the blanket. It's a thing. And I don't, you know, some people like, well, Sharice, you have a smirk on your face. Maybe you don't have a jacket. No, that is their choice. That is their choice. They have a choice to wear a jacket or the blanket, and they just wear it. It's like, oh, I'm just doing the blanket. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm becoming outdated. But no matter what, I'm going to stay with my outdated. I'm not doing the bonnet. I'm not doing the socks. I'm not doing the pajama pants. I'm like, if I'm just too overwhelmed to put on some regular clothes, I'm just not going to do it. But back to the Mississippi thing that you were saying, I remember looking in the newspaper or seeing something where they were comparing when Barack Obama was in office, and the southern states, like, they had this war on drugs and, like, just a lot of different things that they're supposed to be voting and doing stuff to. And none of the senators or congressmen were doing anything, so stuff started to fall behind. And it's just looking like, gosh, you have the worst in everything, some of these southern states. And now you're telling me that Mississippi has come out from the trenches and they're doing better than us?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
On average, a black child in Mississippi is 1.5 grades ahead of the average black child in the state of Wisconsin. And the trend is actually getting better for Mississippi and worse for Wisconsin/Milwaukee. But Sharice, I appreciate your call. I got to grab other calls as well. This blanket thing is throwing me off. That's a whole separate conversation. Did you guys know this? Is it young people? Like, who is it? Teenagers that instead of wearing a jacket, they just leave the house wearing a blanket? Like, that's insanity to me. But whatever. The other thing that I don't like is when I'm in public, and if you're like, yeah, I'm not ordering food or whatever interactions you're having in public, when people are rude and they're mean and they're nasty, even if you have a complaint, there's a tactful way in which you can communicate whatever your issue is, and you're more likely to get your issue resolved because managers know and business owners know most of the time this stuff doesn't always go right. But as a customer, just present what's wrong and then offer a way for them to fix it, or they'll offer you a way to fix it. But here's something that needs to be noted. If you're mean, rude, and nasty unnecessarily, don't expect to be protected in this society. This also goes for kids. And I know that people don't want to hear this, but rude, mean, nasty, and poorly behaved kids, nobody wants those kids around, and those kids don't get protection. But it goes to adults too. If you're rude, mean, condescending, and disrespectful, and somebody sees your ass in dire need and trouble, they will step right over you. Like, that's just a thing in society. If you are out in public, because we're all vulnerable in public, being unnecessarily rude, mean, condescending, or having a stank-ass attitude, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you need help from somebody, people are not going to help you. But for kids in particular, if you got poorly behaved kids, I got friends, not all of my friends for the most part, unless it's a few like people I went to high school with that are damn near 50 and have like 3-year-olds, which baffles my mind. But I had friends I had to stop hanging out with because their kids are so poorly behaved. I'm not going to your house if you cannot control your children. And I say that because there was a code of conduct that I had to follow and adhere to under the threat of extreme punishment if I acted a fool. My parents had company. Part of a parent's status was how well behaved your kids are, or the fact that your kids could just sit there and not say anything means that you're doing your job as a parent. And I tend to agree. Now you got kids all up in adults' conversation. I've seen that before. I remember going to a friend's house and their 8-year-old daughter sat down next to me and thought she was in a conversation. And we was talking about grown stuff. You know what I mean? Well, no, I want my kids to be involved in the conversation. No, the hell you don't. I just can't understand it. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. See, the sad case is, that's part of them 2,000 babies and them crack cocaine babies from the late 90s and stuff. That comes from a certain class and a certain group of people, and that has no color. See, the problem is nobody taught them anything. And see, what's so funny is they don't know how to act like they get right until it's time to get that oil change when they leave that bar. But see, right now, a lot of them have no class, and a lot of times it starts at home because sometimes the parents are trash. And I want to put this out here. If you are one of them young adults and you feel that family you got is trash, they have a lot of chaos, don't nobody work, and they always palm signing in joints, let them rot. And it's me first. Let them leave them behind, and you gonna make yourself great. Because any house that has chaos is because they choose not to do right. But it's still some hope for y'all who's trying to get away. Let them rot and change your mentality. Because a lot of those families will try to hold you down because they lack the determination and dedication to be something. So what happens is, Mr. Hughes, a lot of them have that feral hog mentality. Because you know when a pig leaves a farm and it hits the woods, it starts growing them hooves and it becomes wild boar. That's what we're seeing out here. Nobody has no class and elegant, you know the word. But then when it's time to go to the bar, then they want to get that oil change, and then when they don't get what they want, they knock out the
Al,
little window on your car.
A point of clarity.
Expensive one.
What is getting the oil change? That's not an automotive service you're referring to. You're referring to something else? Getting your oil changed?
Yes, that's what happens when you leave the club at night. You get a good oil change. So that's the time nobody got no bonnet on. Everybody got on clean drawers, clean panties. And some of y'all got to start cleaning y'all panties too, because when y'all be at them laundromats, I done seen y'all drop a couple pair of panties. They was dark down there, so I don't know what's going on, but y'all might want to start checking that mushroom before you let it go in. Y'all got to get that together. And the same with you men, y'all got to get it together too, because them drawers that's wavy at the top, you done had them on for 2-3 days. Stop it. And let's have some class and elegance and have some care and respect for one another so we can get back to how we used to be. Or not yet, just having a certain level of respect. Because even if you get your oil changed, ain't nobody going to want to marry you with a feral hog mentality. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, then. Get your oil changed. Maybe we should just go back and talk about test scores. These successes have not been wholly unacknowledged. They have been dutifully and perfunctorily name-checked, in news stories. Nonetheless, there has been, shall we say, a reluctance among national voices to extol Deep South examples as worthy of emulation by their so-called better-off northern peers. You can't go around saying Maine, the state of Maine, ought to visit Mississippi to learn how to teach reading because it's insulting. You could ruin a cocktail party conversation. But that's exactly what should happen, according to this article that appears in Education Daily. There are some examples of reading scores for these two states, Mississippi and Maine, over time. For context, 10 points on the National Assessment of Educational Progress is approximately the equivalent of one grade level. In the year 2002 in Mississippi students were 2 years behind Maine. Today, students in Mississippi are ahead of Maine. There's a much broader trend afoot. This spring, a guy named Paul Peterson and another fellow named Michael Hartney showed that red states as defined by the 2024 presidential election of Donald Trump, are overtaking blue states academically. I got to pause there. Red states that voted for Trump are performing better academically than blue states that voted for Kamala Harris. What is going on? We'll talk about that on the other side. And maybe we'll figure out why people wear bonnets to Jersey Mike's. And also, I went to a Thai restaurant yesterday. And Ricky doesn't know anything about Thai food. I got the waterfall beef. She asked me if I wanted it spicy. I said yes. I regret that. Spicy to a Thai person is not the same as spicy to a non-Thai person. She brought out my waterfall beef, which has got to be the most delicious, succulent bits and pieces of shaved. Is it ribeye? Is it sirloin? I don't know what it is, but it's got basil in it, and it's got romaine lettuce, and it's got tomatoes and cucumbers, and it's got this sauce. And it's so hot that I started to see different colors. That's how hot it was. And so she came to check on me, because when you order food at a restaurant, they'll be like, oh, hey, how are the first couple of bites? She came over to ask me if I was okay. She's like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? I couldn't even answer her. But man, I love Thai food because I had a very productive day yesterday. I told you I got the yard together. I got my snow tires taken off and my winter tires put on. I was very productive. I said, you know what? I'm going to take myself out to eat. And yes, I went out to eat by myself. Let me tell you why, because I love it. I don't want to go out to eat with a woman. I don't want to go on no date because I can relax and I can just rebuild myself and I can just sit in quiet and peace. I don't got to entertain nobody. And the bill is probably 70% cheaper if you go out to eat by yourself. Sometimes it's not worth the additional money to have company when you go out to eat. I love going out to eat by myself. I love it. I don't got to worry about, I don't know what I want. Sherwin, order something for me. And then I do, and I end up ordering the wrong thing, even though she told me to order for her in the first place. I don't deal with none of that when I go out to eat by myself, and it's cheaper. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's no better time to upgrade your windows and doors than right now, because you can get up to 6 years of 0% financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Yes, no interest for up to 72 months, and the full Pella experience is always included. That means the Pella team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the work is done. Set up your free in-home consultation. You commit to nothing at this point. A Pella design expert will listen to your vision and then present the different colors, sizes, and customizations needed to make that vision a reality. It can feel overwhelming to consider what feels like limitless possibilities, but Pella's design team can help narrow those options down for you to create that dream upgrade. Hurry! Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends May 31st, 2025. So visit PellaWI.com today.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
On Thursday, May 22nd, join Sharp Literacy for the 9th annual Unwrapped Milwaukee fundraising event from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3rd Street Market Hall. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food. Top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based educational program serving thousands of urban elementary students in 47 Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine schools. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Lisa, you got to be quick because I got less than 4 minutes and there's 2 other people on hold. So hopefully your commentary is on the subject matter. If it's not, I got to move.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I used when I did work and travel. You're all right. I remember one that just totally disgusted me. She had to be about 16, 17. She came to the airport, and her mother was in front of her. Mother, auntie, I don't know, but they had pajamas on, and the mother had flip-flops on the bonnet, and the girl had, I hate them house shoes with the animals on them. Oh, they worked my nerve. And she did have a blanket or whatever wrapped around her. She had some type of blanket wrapped around her. Yeah. And this was, at least 4 years ago.
Were they homeless? Maybe they didn't have a home.
No, we were at the airport. I was taking a flight out. Yeah. And she had that on, and the mismatched socks. I didn't understand it, but you could buy those at the store at Walmart. Because I used to think I was crazy. I was like, girl, telling my nieces, "Why are y'all socks?" They're like, "Why they not matching?" We bought them like that. You bought them like that. What do you mean you bought? Huh?
Wait a minute, you buy socks. People can buy socks that don't. That's easy enough to accomplish on your own. All you got to do is just lose one, so you can buy socks that don't match.
But you don't lose socks, so you don't lose nothing in my house because they say I have OCD. You know, I like my paper towel to be a certain way, and you know, and my sock, I'm like you. I have to coordinate. I have to match. Everything has to match. If I have an outfit I put together that matches the color, I'm going to take it, fold it, put it together, hang it, do whatever I need to do. My socks, I'm like you, Sherwin. You know, when I fold my socks, I fold them. You know, I'd halfway fold them so I can see what, you know, the foot, if they're gray or, you know, and have the gray whatever, so I can see how they are. And, you know, I am.
Well, Lisa, we got to leave it there.
Shoe boxes, everything.
Thank you, Lisa, for I didn't know you could buy socks that didn't match. Bob, do you even wear socks?
Sherwin, how you doing, Sherwin? Yeah, yes, I wear socks. A lot of people are
wearing socks right now.
Yeah, I got socks on right now, Sherwin.
All right.
A lot of people are really going down south and stripping me out. But it took me this long. It was like torture when you said, "What has Donald Trump done good? Give me one thing."
Bob, I didn't talk about that today. We got to stay on the topic. I know you didn't. Bob, we got to stay on the topic now. You don't got nothing to say on the topic. I asked you about your socks. You said you're wearing socks. So is that all you got to say about the topic? Even though socks ain't the topic. You said people are going back down south.
You don't want me to say one thing he did good?
No.
Like you asked that question?
No, I asked that 2 weeks ago, Bob. No, we got all those questions answered that day. Okay, then. Steed, I left you with a minute. Can you get your question or your comment out in 60 seconds?
Yeah, I believe I can. Thanks for the opportunity. I have a kid over at the university school, and she is a part of the BSU, Black Student Union, and she had to address a young lady that came to school with her bonnet on.
At the university school?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And my daughter took it to her. She took it to her. She didn't play. She did not play, man. And remember when I told you a long time ago that I was talking to another parent at the university school, and he said, don't every child deserve this level of education? And you know what he told me? He says, listen, over here we raise leaders. Those public schools, they raise workers. Oh. So that's the whole difference. And you always say we're not a monolith. But if we're only 14% of the total population, maybe we need to be a monolith because our voice, when it's divided, is not heard. But together, we can get traction. We can get things done. Maybe we should be a monolith. Maybe we should become a culture again like we once were when we were in the South. My dad told me that when they killed the pigs in Mississippi, that everybody got a piece of it. They were a community. They had one voice. That's how things got done. When I hear you say this all the time, we're not a monolith. I hear Dr. King say it all the time, we're not a monolith.
Steve, I'm going to let you hang on, but I really got to take a break. So you want to hang on?
Go ahead.
All right. Hold on then. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
Truth Nation, it's a big week for the Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast, so let's go. Have you ever wanted to become a Girl Scout? Sign up for their extended year membership today. Girls can join just for $98 and adults for only $42. Take advantage of their extended year membership by June 30th. And girls starting kindergarten and first grade in 2025 will receive 3 fun skill-building activity books for the whole family and more. It's a special big week for the Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast. To become a Girl Scout this year, join today at gswise.org. Join today.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion, or your first big lightning strike, There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Families agents. Life's better when you're under American Families roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk. You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I think our conversation is delving in and out of everything from educational investment and educational performance, especially amongst black children who are still exhibiting learning loss from the pandemic, because a lot of things changed. There was a lot of virtual learning during the pandemic, and there was measurable learning loss. And then we always compare ourselves to states that we know perform worse than us as like the examples of what not to become. And for many, many years and many decades, it was the state of Mississippi. Well, we come to find out that the state of Mississippi is outperforming children in Wisconsin, especially outperforming black children. And even states like Louisiana, I think Louisiana is the only state to not only reverse the learning loss during the pandemic, but they have returned to levels that were higher than they were prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, changing how children are receiving their education. But then we also kind of dove into culture, and there's a segment of a population, I'm not going to say whose population, that is without any kind of pride. And somebody had texted earlier, said on YouTube, maybe it's self-hate. I don't know if it is, because I bet you those people probably have a very healthy self-esteem. You have to love yourself a lot to look like nothing when you leave the house. Like, that self-esteem is so strong that you don't care at all what anybody says or what anybody thinks about you. So it might be the opposite. Maybe their self-esteem is so healthy that they feel like they look good all the time, even when they do not put anything at all into their appearance. Steed, I just happened to look at the cost of sending a child to the University School of Milwaukee. 9th grade costs $32,000. 10th grade costs $33,000. 11th grade costs $34,000. And senior parents pay $35,060 to send their kids to that school. And you mean to tell me that somebody is paying that tuition and they sent their kid to school in a bonnet?
Well, yes. And my daughter, she had to address it. She was not. She didn't hold back. She said, "Do you see anybody else with that thing on?" And I don't know what the answer the girl gave her, but I don't think they had that bonnet problem anymore. As far as I know, I didn't talk to her extensively after that. But if I could just make this one point, you guys had a commercial some time ago and it mentioned that in this country, the kids are highest priority. Highest priority. Now, like I said, if we were a community, like we were when we were in the South, as a community, we can have a unified voice. We could say, listen, I do not want my tax dollars representing 50. The city of Milwaukee has 50% going to the police department. Scratch that. Take 20% from them and put it into our schools. Let the kids be our highest priority. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we need to do, because if you did that, you wouldn't need the police department. You see what I'm saying? But us not being a monolith, that's garbage. We should be, because we lack culture. We need to be. That way we have a unified voice. We can get some things done, man. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Sherwin.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your call. Vanessa said rich people don't care about fashion. Oh, God, yes, they do, Vanessa. I'm trying to think of what you can look up so you can see this thing. New money versus old money, and you can see the difference in fashion. What'll happen is really, really wealthy people will appear to dress down, but that T-shirt is $900. It'll never shrink. It'll never fade. The quality is so high that the casual onlooker can't tell. But no, wealthy people, they do care about fashion. You also can get to a point where you're so rich where you don't care about anything. But when a wealthy person needs to go to an event, not also depends. Wealth looks different culturally depending upon where you are. Wealth looks different. Black people, old money, black people, new money is culturally different. West Coast, California, old money, California, new money looks different. East Coast money, young, old, new, whatever, also looks very, very different. But also, I think we have different perceptions of what money is. Like, what's rich to y'all? Rich now is billions or close to it with all of your combined assets and with everything. Your rental property, all of your real estate, your investments, everything, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's money. I'll be honest with y'all. Somebody who worked at a damn factory for 30 years can retire with $1 million. And $1 million is not enough. If you retire at 60, yeah. And you got $1 million. You're a millionaire, technically. You got $1 million free and clear, okay? You spend $50,000 a year, you're broke in 20 years. So $1 million used to be like the gold standard for, if you retire with $1 million. That's not enough, because you can outlive your money. And $50,000 a year, considering what housing costs are, considering the tariffs is going to make everything more expensive. So when we have our conversations about tariffs, which we don't talk about nearly enough because it changes day to day, if someone has their retirement amount set to where they only have $60,000 a year, they can't exceed $60,000 a year, or they will be in deep doo-doo financially. Tariffs can make that $60,000 the purchasing power equivalent to $40,000, and now they've got to overspend, and that can ruin their entire retirement plan. But no, money is to where the entire lineage of your family never has to worry about getting a job. That's what real money is, and I think some of us think like, if I had $90,000, that's not real money. The other thing about quote unquote real money is people's problems don't go away. And I think that's the misconception. Your problems just become better financed. You become a more extreme version of who you are. So if you're a bad person and you get a whole bunch of money, you're a bad person with money. You're not saintly. It doesn't change you morally. Just like someone's accomplishments, as an example. And maybe making money and being successful in business is a hell of an accomplishment, but it doesn't make you a good person. Just like someone who brags about how much they've accomplished in their life, they got a great education and they've got however many master's degrees. You can be a horrible human being. And some folks that are horrible human beings, they use their accomplishments to form their personality, because their personalities are terrible. They're like genuinely bad people, but they're like, I've done all these things in my life. That makes me a good person. No, it doesn't. Those are your personal goals, and good for you for accomplishing those, but you still can be a horrible person with a bunch of different degrees and a bank account full of money. That's one of the worst things about people, is they think that if they've accomplished a lot, that should garner them additional things in our society because they just personally accomplish a lot. No one should be a bad person. Because I've met people that have nothing, no money, no education. Nicest people you'd ever want to meet. Drug addicts sometimes. Just when they're sober and lucid, just the sweetest people ever. They just can't get off of that dope. It's very unfortunate. And then you have people that are clean and sober, go to church every Sunday, the most evil and sinister, lying, backstabbing, cheating people you ever want to meet. It is just hard to stomach sometimes. Did I say I wanted to talk about Real ID? I did. Do I have a Real ID story? Hell, I don't know. We still talking about Mississippi and slave caps. There's a much broader trend afoot. This spring, Paul Peterson and Michael Hartney showed that red states that were defined by 2024 presidential election votes, are overtaking blue states academically. In 2019, blue states had higher national education assessment scores. What's the NAEP stand for again? I just looked it up. Rick, can you get that text? Did you see the text message I was talking about? I can't read it.
It's very disturbing and very judgmental.
Yeah, but I think people need to hear it.
So what, you want me to read it?
Yeah, I can't read it. National Assessment of Educational Process. That's NAEP. But can you don't want to read it?
I'm not reading that. You can read that, though. You make it sound better.
No, because I think if I read it, people will judge me more harshly. If you read it, people are like, oh, that's not. They won't judge you. Because if I say it, people are going to think that I feel that way. And if you say it, you're just like, oh, I'm just a producer just helping. You don't want to read it? No. He makes a really good point.
So obviously you do agree with it. You just you just saw it on yourself.
There's one word. He says the word vagina in it, and I can't.
So just blurt out the word. Don't say the word that don't need to be said.
No, but even if I don't say the word, there's the sentence. The vagina. People are still gonna know we're talking about a vagina.
So you're gonna say vagina 3 times, all right?
Yeah, but I didn't say vagina in the way that he did.
4 times, got it.
Vagina's not a banned word.
5.
Penis.
That's 1.
There's not a limit to how many times I can say penis.
That's 2.
I need to get back to my story here. In 2019, blue states had higher NAEP scores on all 4 major tests: 4th grade and 8th grade reading and math. By 2024, red states that voted for Trump had taken the lead in 3 of the 4. With such striking patterns, one would expect some of these red states to be the hottest ticket in education. Reporters embedding in steamy southern capitals to write long-form magazine profiles of crusading state chiefs, national commissions chaired by governors, awards distributed at fancy black-tie dinners. But none of that is happening because these are SEC states. More often, there have been sloppy attempts at debunking Mississippi's success. Some of them ran in national papers. Others were withdrawn when the authors realized they were based on flawed information. This isn't just wrong, it's a problem, and there are lessons our education community and for both political parties. Edu snobbery hurts us all. We miss opportunities to help kids. The author says, I'm not saying we should go full Finland and turn Mississippi into a junket destination and an object of hero worship. It's not perfect by any means. We need to celebrate their thoughtful statewide strategy that has dramatically improved results without a colossal increase in spending. Their progress is not a fluke in Mississippi. It's a clue of how we can be better. Underperforming states escape scrutiny. Wisconsin should be one of those. Our biases prevent us from asking, for instance, what's going on in Oregon or Vermont or Maryland or Wisconsin. There's a case to be made that their instructional quality is among the weakest in America based on their performance trends over the last 10 years. And yet, when's the last time you heard those states being pressed to defend their poor outcomes? They, like Wisconsin, are getting a pass. Our federal system becomes a weakness rather than a strength. Devolving most education authority to states theoretically allows innovation based on local needs, but it also presumes that successful practices will catch on in those lagging states. That's not happening. Instead, mediocre and low-performing states are living in denial, cherry-picking small wins to avoid confronting larger truths. And we do that at MPS. Everybody looks at Rufus King. Oh, King is the best place. That's not happening. Instead, mediocre and low-performing states are living in denial, cherry-picking small wins to avoid confronting larger truths. This is one reason that every Student Succeeds Act, passed in 2015 and focused on reducing federal accountability, is increasingly seen as a colossal mistake. I'll take a break. When I come back, former Milwaukee Alderman Joe Davis Sr. is here, and he's going to talk about some opportunities in business contracting in the construction trades. Joe Davis Sr. serves as the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Development Director for the Construction Business Group out of Madison. We're going to talk to him next. But first, we got to find him in the building. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win. And how many games? 6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's no better time to upgrade your windows and doors than right now, because you can get up to 6 years of 0% financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Yes, no interest for up to 72 months, and the full Pella experience is always included. That means the Pella team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the work is done. Set up your free in-home consultation. You commit to nothing at this point. A Pella design expert will listen to your vision and then present the different colors, sizes, and customizations needed to make that vision a reality. It can feel overwhelming to consider what feels like limitless possibilities, but Pella's design team can help narrow those options down for you to create that dream upgrade. Hurry! Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends May 31st, 2025. So visit PellaWI.com today.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice, and it's Steinhaffel's Memorial Day mattress sale. Save up to $900 on select adjustable base sets, plus get up to $300 in Steinhaffel's cash. And take advantage of Steinhaffel's special 60-month financing. You can get a Queen Tempur-Pedic mattress for only $48 per month, a Beauty Rest Black mattress for only $36 per month, and an Avocado mattress for only $26 per month. Steinhaffel's is Wisconsin's mattress leader. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
Hey everybody, it's Melanie Ricks. You all know I love supporting a local team. That's why I'm excited to tell you about UW Credit Union. They've been serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. And when I was in school, they helped me learn how to plan for my future and make my money grow. Even now, they're still always there for me when I have questions, and they'll be there for you too. So stop by any of their 13 Milwaukee area branches or visit uwcu.org to become a UW Credit Union member today, like me. Federally insured by NCUA.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the oncoming coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All right, Joe is kind of here. We'll start this segment in, I don't know, 11:27. Does that work for you, Rick? Rick, you're not going to read a text message? The one with the V word in it? I think the caller makes a good point. Or not the caller, the texter makes a good point.
If he makes a good point, read it.
I think I pushed the limit too much already on this show. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a limit pusher. Jay, the math teacher, says interest on $1 million is the right account, is $45 to $50K per year. Work a part-time job for spending money, pay bills with the interest. But is that a retirement though? If you think about this, if you started working 40 years ago and you were able to amass $1 million in your retirement account, and also the other thing, Jay, math teacher, which is interesting and ironic that you're a math teacher talking about $1 million. You don't want to have to work. Isn't the point of retiring like, hey, I worked, done working, and interest rates fluctuate. I think now in a brokerage account, just like a regular savings account, if you do not want to put your money in stocks, it's like 4%, give or take. And $45,000 to $50,000 per year. Now that's also contingent upon, well, what state do you live in? Some states tax pensions, some states don't. Alaska doesn't, Arizona doesn't, Texas doesn't, Florida doesn't. I think Tennessee might be another state where there's no state income tax that you pay on your pension. So if you're making $45,000 a year and you're paying, let's say in Wisconsin, 6% of that in income taxes, you can't live off of that. Like, you're going to be living in poverty, even though technically you're a millionaire. Now, there are other investment instruments, and hopefully you have a financial advisor. I know every now and again we talk about investing, and people always request for me to talk more about investing, and here's why I don't do it. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't know what everyone's unique situation is. So talking about where to put your money and where to invest it and how to invest it is so unique to you because you guys are all on different trajectories and different timelines. Some of you are making really good money right now, and your investment, strategy is going to be different than someone who's making $35,000 a year. Someone who's making $35,000 a year, but they're 22 years old, that has a full 40 years to take advantage of investing in the stock market is going to have a totally different outlook. Quite honestly, if you're 18 years old, and I'm not sure how many of you are, putting away $100 a month every single month, regardless of what market conditions are, in a brokerage account, you will be fine. If you can find $100 a month to put away and do not touch it, starting at 18, whenever you're ready to be done working or whenever you qualify for Social Security, if it exists, you will be perfectly fine. That's it. Markets are going to fluctuate. The economy is going to go up. The economy is going to go down. Starting at 18, you put away $100 a month for the next 40 years, 45 years, you will have all the money you ever could imagine. You'll be fine. Now, if you are, let's say, in your late 40s and you realize, I didn't save for retirement like I should have, I didn't put enough money away, or I didn't know enough about a brokerage account or about a stock market, and you do not have a financial advisor, you are able to put in higher levels of contributions depending upon your age. But all of this stuff is just contingent upon you and your particular financial situation. The other thing is some of y'all are very expensive. Some of y'all can't function on less than $60,000 a year. And you can live that life in retirement, but you got to plan for that life. Some of y'all are very inexpensive. I envy the inexpensive people. I wish I could be happy making $1,000 a month. I wish that I could be happy. I can't be. I like to sometimes go get Thai food. Or every now and again, I might want to go to Moe's. You can't go to Moe's every day. Like Ricky probably does, because Ricky is rich. But every now and again, I like to go do things. You might want to take a trip. You want to take a little vacation. You want, buy yourself something fancy. Speaking of which, I did buy myself something fancy. So I saw a person on the internet wearing a shirt. I was like, if I can find this shirt, I'm going to buy it. The internet did not disappoint. Now, here's the question. I don't know if I want to debut this particular shirt on this show or let y'all see me out in the streets wearing it. I promise you. I'm the only person, definitely the only person in Milwaukee that's going to have this shirt. It's supposed to be arriving soon. I'm going to be the only person in Milwaukee that has this shirt. I bet you I'm the only person in Wisconsin. There might be some knucklehead in Chicago that may have the shirt. But I might be one of only 5 people in the entire country that has this particular shirt, and I'm wondering, should I wear it? Oh, you guys are going to love it so very much. You know when I should wear it? You know, on Friday we got John Jankowski here, who is the executive director of We Bear All. He's a nudist, and he's going to be talking about the naked bike ride. I should wear the shirt. 'Cause it's a particular style of shirt. It's got buttons on it. And I should wear that shirt on Friday, but wear it unbuttoned and let my chest show. I think that's what I'll do, actually. Curly Q says I better debut it on the show. Here's what I'm worried about, though. I don't want other people to copy my trend. Because if I wear this particular shirt, then I'm going to start seeing a whole bunch of other people. Because you know Milwaukee people, you're copycats. Monkey see, monkey do. No, Rick, I'm not calling monkey see, monkey do. It's
you try to fix it at the last minute. You said it.
Monkey see, monkey do. And I don't want people to copycat me. I like to be unique. I'm very creative. I'm a creative person. I got a very creative mind. And I don't want any of these monkey see, monkey do people to copy my style. Because then my style is not original anymore. Right? I don't know why you're trying to make everything I say like some kind of trying to twist my words into something that they're not, Rick.
I'm definitely not twisting your words. I'm not even saying anything. But
watch your mouth.
Okay. I have every right to not want to be copied by a monkey see, monkey do person.
What's up with all the dramatic pauses when you say monkey see?
I like to speak very slowly and very articulately on
I ain't doing that right now.
Monkey see.
Watch your mouth.
Monkey. No, it's not. Come on, everybody relax. Question for you, Rick.
Yes, sir.
100 men versus the gorilla. Who wins?
I'm not participating in that social media question.
No, it's a legitimate question.
It's not a legitimate question because you didn't come up with that question. Social media did.
You're right.
And no, I would not partake in that murder, suicide mission.
No, I wouldn't want you to. I wouldn't expect anybody to. But who do you think would win? Because there's some people that think 100 men could kill a gorilla.
People don't know the crushing pressure of the jaw of the gorilla has, let alone the muscle mass that a gorilla has.
That's right.
100 men is not winning against a gorilla.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree. I think that 100 men would not survive. I mean, the gorilla would eventually get tired and it would take some damage, but I think that 97 men would be dead or maimed.
100 men without weapons and they going hand-to-hand combat with a gorilla? Absolutely not.
Because, you know, everybody's talking about it on the internet and everybody's been posting it and sharing it. It's been a lot of monkey see, monkey do in the conversation about the gorilla versus 100 men. So why don't we do this? We found Joe Davis. He's been located, right? We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk to – I haven't talked to Joe in years. Going to talk to a former Milwaukee alderman. He is now with the DBE program, talking about some disadvantaged business opportunities for those minority contractors that have business dealings in the construction fields. I'm also going to ask him a very important question because, you know, he ran for mayor. Back when we were over at WNOV, Rick, he was a mayoral candidate. I want to ask him if he regrets not being elected mayor of the city of Milwaukee. So we'll talk to him on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Monkey! See, monkey do is not, that's not the way, you guys. Be very unique and be very original. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What are some of the things that we need to really focus on to get our fair share of these opportunities, i.e. access to capital?
You know, it's very important to always think about building a strong business plan, understanding the financial parameters around what you're trying to accomplish, building great networks and great relationships so you can have partnerships and building out your dream. And then finding a good financial partner like Old National to help really orchestrate your vision of the organization. And then, as you know, DT, you wouldn't be where you're at because you're phenomenal, doing great work. And then you have to really have to go to work. If you have that dream, you have that vision, the business plan, the financial piece, then you have to really work at it and keep building.
Learn more about the Old National Bank Small Business Empowerment Loan by visiting oldnational.com/small business or contact a small business banker at Old National Bank.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Dr. Ken Harris with his truth.
You know, in life, our journey is not meant to be walked alone. As much as self-reliance and independence are celebrated, we need an inner circle, a group of trusted friends who uplift, challenge, and remind us of our purpose. Your inner circle is more than just companionship. It's your compass. These are the people who see your potential when self-doubt clouds your vision, who tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and who stand beside you when the weight of the world feels unbearable. You know, the value of an inner circle is not just in the emotional support, but in accountability. They hold us to our highest standards, ensuring we don't settle for mediocrity. It's through this circle that we refine our thoughts, grow in character and courage to face life's battles. Today is no exception. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, energize you, and believe in your dreams as much as you do. They will then shape your growth, strengthen your resilience, and celebrate your victories. You know, James Baldwin once said, "The place in which I will fit will not exist until I make it." Your inner circle is part of that place, a foundation for your growth, your success, and most importantly, belonging.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back to the program. In studio, I haven't said this man's name in studio for a very, very long time, Mr. Joe Davis Sr. Can I refer to you as former Milwaukee Alderman Joe Davis Sr., or have you just totally shed that skin altogether?
Absolutely. It's done.
Joe, you make it seem like you had a bad time here while you were an elected official in the city of Milwaukee.
No, it was just a season, man. You know, that's the thing about it, is that public office is not for you to kind of retire from. It's there for you to serve for a while and know when to get out of it and let the young folks come in, or someone who has better ideas, you know, and that's what I learned from my family, is that you do what you can when you're in it, and then when you disconnect from it, you still keep in contact with good friends, but you don't want to worship it.
I think that's a good philosophy to have, because as times change, different generations have new perspectives on old problems, and I think that people can outlive their usefulness without naming any names. And I also know we got other stuff we got to talk about, but I ain't seen you in a while. Are you shocked that there are still people on that council, and you've been gone for a while, they're still on that council now, and you served with those same people? Is that shocking to you?
See, I told you I totally disconnected. So don't try to bring me back into Babylon, all right?
You ran for mayor. I ain't going to let you forget that. Remember when you wanted to be mayor? Are you glad you didn't get elected mayor?
No.
You're not glad? You wish you would have been elected mayor?
Because I had some ideals that I wanted to implement. But since it's that way, you just kind of move on. And, there's other things that are out there other than, what you cling on to. When you're confident in things and your ability to kind of solve problems, you understand that you have to apply yourself where you're most effective. And right now in the private sector, we're having a great time. And I'll tell you, there's no constraints. There are some constraints, let me put it to you this way, but it's not as much as, ethics statements and things of that nature and filing reports and, You got to
be very accountable to the public in everything you do. Every dollar that you raise, every dollar that you spend.
Absolutely.
In the private sector, you, of course, have a lot more flexibility and latitude with your time and with your dollars.
Absolutely.
So going back to when we actually worked at the city together, you always had an interest in strengthening and fortifying business opportunities, entrepreneurship, and contracting opportunities for minority businesses. You're a union man.
Absolutely.
And so you have followed that passion even into the private sector. And now you are the DBE Development Director for the Construction Business Group. So first tell us what the Construction Business Group does, for those that may be unfamiliar.
So what we are is we're a labor organization that has memberships with carpenters, laborers, operating engineers, who I'm involved in. And what we do, it's labor compliance on one side. But the Wisconsin Transportation Builders Association, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, they were taking a look at a situation where during the time there were what they consider waivers for prime contractors that were requesting to forego participation. They call it minority participation, but DBE participation.
Because you can't be race specific, but just so folks know, a disadvantaged business, more often than not, they're disadvantaged because they have been kept out of mainstream big dollar contracting opportunities. And because they have been, for whatever reason, kept out of those big contracting opportunities, their businesses may be considered and categorized as disadvantaged, which can get them opportunities they otherwise would have missed.
Right. It's not ethnic specific, it's historically specific, right? And so as you take a look at the construction industry here in the state of Wisconsin and nationally, there are statistics that are out there that shows why folks have been disadvantaged historically. And so now we have an opportunity to grow businesses, subcontracting on heavy highway projects. I don't do anything with the vertical end of it, meaning building constructions with, high rises and things of that nature. I'm really focused on heavy highway, which, give you an example, big project coming here and what I talked to you about, the east-west corridor of I-94, right, from 16th Street all the way out to the zoo. I mean, not to the zoo, but to State Fair. That's going to be over $1 billion project. They're going to reconstruct the highway in addition to the north-south leg of, I think it's I-175.
Part federally funded, I'm assuming, part state Department of Transportation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Both of those entities do have, which I do want to talk to you about, requirements to hire or contract with disadvantaged businesses / minority businesses, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not so much the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin can actually put together hiring requirements, and that's the reason why I'm involved in the apprenticeship programs, right? I came in as an apprentice at the age of 18, so I got over 40 years with the local that I'm with, right? And so that's the space that I'm familiar with. But I can't have good businesses if people don't have the intellectual capacity to understand the market of the road construction business. It's a very lucrative business, and the return of investment can be anywhere between 5% and 15% if you do your contracting right and if you run your business right. And I just think, from my standpoint, coming from that industry, that's the start of generational wealth, where you can pass that business down not only to your children, but to your family, and that's when you start creating wealth.
We talk about the trades quite a bit on this program. As you would imagine, any African-American talk radio program host will talk about opportunities for black men that may not want to go to a 4-year college. Maybe the trades is an option. For highway construction, because that's not necessarily carpentry, right? What trades or what skill sets would people need to be involved in the multi-billion-dollar contracting opportunities offered by road and highway construction?
Yeah, so here's what I would offer. In schools, you actually have pre-apprenticeship programs. And I would share with every parent that is out there, and Milwaukee's been doing a good job. I think just recently there was over 900 young people out at Miller Park through the Building Construction Trades Council that were seeking apprenticeships. But here's the linchpin. If you get into a pre-apprenticeship program when you're in high school, it reduces, at least in our program with Destinations Career Academy, it reduces your apprenticeship time. So when you turn 18, instead of you actually having a 4-year apprenticeship, you've gotten all your electives out of the way that you can now turn that into a 2-year apprenticeship because you've already got 2 years out of the way when you're in high school. Now, let me share with you as far as the operating engineers are concerned. I don't talk a lot about any other trades, but
these are our friends at Local 139, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Good guys over there.
Absolutely. Thomas Moore Jr., he's a business agent over there out of Pewaukee. He and I have numerous conversations, and, they have a very good structure, but they also have a good history. But if you get your apprenticeship with Local 139 and you average 2,000 hours a year for 20 years, you're able to retire. And I heard you talked about wealth planning. You retire with about an $8,000 pension. If you bump that up
a month,
absolutely. If you retire when you're 30 years with the same type of demographics or the same type of statistics, 2,000 hours a year for 30 years, you'll retire with anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000 a month.
So you can start at 18. Get your 30 years in. At 48, you're making between $10,000 and $12,000 a month in retirement?
Yeah, well, you're not making it. That's due to you. Absolutely, because your hours that you've worked, you put those resources aside through their collective bargaining and wage agreement. And this is the reason why, some people, they really don't understand the collective impact on what unions actually bring to the table. It's a wealth building opportunity. But keep that in mind, when you just did the math about 30 years, right? You're still young enough to start a business, right? So now you got the seed capital, the startup capital, in order for you to invest in your business. You can start up a road, whether it's landscaping, whether it's curbs and gutters, whatever, sweeping company or whatever. And now you're able to participate on some of these what we consider heavy highway projects. And that's the whole cycle that I wanted to talk about. Why does Milwaukee not have a large road construction business that is African American? And sometimes we lose out on that opportunity because we don't follow the plan.
In studio is none other than Mr. Joe Davis Sr. Joe, is this, I'm looking at these dollar amounts here. Is this current? These are current bids and contract opportunities that are available right now, or is this just?
Absolutely. I just ran the one that will happen next week. Every Tuesday of the month, WISDOT actually offers contracts for road building projects. And with the Biden infrastructure law, as you know, there's been a lot of investment in infrastructure. You've probably been seeing a whole lot of orange cones along I-43. Big project up there, 894 and the airport spur. So there's a lot of construction projects that are out there. One side we really focus on is trying to get work on this project as far as a worker, whether it's a flagger or whatever. We want to go work for a contractor. But there's something that's after that, and that is starting your own business so that you can become a subcontractor on some of these projects. And as you can see, I don't want to steal your thunder, but they're anywhere between $2 million and $15 million.
I see there's an opportunity here in the Appleton, De Pere area, the SBC interchange. That's between $15 million and $16,999,900. There's another one here, the North-South Freeway, Mitchell IC Marquette interchange. It's $4 million or $4.9 million, almost $5 million. You got another one here in Milwaukee, $2 million to $3 million. And each of these will have a requirement for a disadvantaged business subcontractor affixed to them, right?
That's correct.
And those percentages, I'm assuming that they vary. So in this project I'm looking at right now, which is in Appleton, which is between $15 million and almost $17 million. A 10% DBE requirement on the low end is $1.5 million worth of contract work for a disadvantaged business enterprise. A couple of things with that, and we got to take a break. What does it take to get disadvantaged business certified, and also the current political climate that we're in right now that does not look too favorably on things that they can consider DEI? How does DBE fit into DEI, and is it in any kind of jeopardy because of politics? When I ask you that on the other side, then also what does someone need to do to become DBE certified? Mr. Joe Davis Sr. is in the studio, and he's not running for anything.
Absolutely. Only running for vacation.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back to the program. In studio, Joe Davis. Joe is with the Construction Business Group. So, Joe, if somebody wants to be involved in highway construction, or they have a company that could potentially benefit from a highway construction contract, this is like tens of millions of dollars worth of, if not hundreds of millions of dollars worth of opportunities right here in front of me that you gave me. How does someone become a certified DBE so they can potentially bid on and get one of these contracts?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is if you have any type of construction experience that deals with heavy highway, you might want to consider. But, the investment in your company is going to be important, right? And the first thing that if you meet all of those criteria and you got that fire in your belly that you say you want to become involved in that opportunity, first thing I work with my clients, I tell them, get your DBE certification, regardless of what's happening at the national level with USDOT. Certification is kind of like your good housekeeping seal, right? You've been through the gauntlet and, your taxes are good,
It's a paperwork process, basically. You got to submit your taxes and information about your business, that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, because, every industry wants to make sure that they have responsible business owners, right? And especially the government. Sometimes states make in the past letting people in because they were trying to meet the goals, but people didn't have the capacity, and there was misuse of public funds. And so for me, it's to have a candid conversation of, get your business right before you even think about this, because this is a big boy's business.
Does Construction Business Group, do you all certify businesses, or do you advise them and mentor them and consult?
So I work directly with the DBE office, the DBE program for WISTOT.
Okay.
And so if
Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Yep. And so if there's any business that is interested in becoming certified, the first thing I do is I sit down with them and have the same type of conversation. The certification process is very rigorous, but it becomes simple as we start taking our clients through it. And the key thing is don't overread it, or don't try to overthink it. There's about 3 or 4 pages that you need to fill out, and then there's also some supplemental information that you need to submit with it. And so from our standpoint, we need good subcontracting, because prime contractors cannot self-perform the work itself. And once again, I always think about this generational wealth. My mom and dad, they passed some things down to me, and now my grandchildren, my children and my grandchildren are starting to reap that, and we're living a comfortable life. But I want to share those particular processes with other folks as it deals with the construction industry, because once a guy gets into, or a woman, Ebony Jennings has Jennings Asphalt, and she's doing some good stuff right now. She had a grandfather that was in the road paving business, asphalt, and we know Sean McDowell. His son currently right now.
I went to high school with him, actually.
Absolutely. Sean had what was Sean's?
McDowell
Construction, right. Sean's son now is working for the largest road building contractor up in La Crosse. And let me just make this point, Sherwin, and this is important. Our young people need to understand you need to go where the money is at. This market is saturated with road builders, trucking companies, and everything else, but there's a whole different market. And one of the projects you talked about, I-41 project, that road is to access or to service the Green Bay Packers and Lambeau Field. That runs between Appleton, Fond du Lac, people on that side of the state, so they can get up to Lambeau Field. In certain areas, it's only 2 lanes in each direction, and we know when the Packers are playing and they have a very, very good record, everything. That's the reason why they're doing what they're doing on 43 and now what they're doing on 41. And that's going to be a $1 billion project in that once they're done with that project also.
Now, we only got about 4 minutes left,
Sure.
But Joe, the political climate right now is very anti-DEI, and I also know that there's a lot of opposition to a lot of things that former President Joe Biden did, including opposition to some of his infrastructure investments. Are the programs that you work with and some of the contractors that you're working alongside, are they impacted by an anti-DEI sentiment that exists in the federal government, and could that impact the disadvantaged business enterprise contract opportunities here in the state of Wisconsin?
I'll answer that 2 different ways. The first way I'll answer it is that DEI was put together as an executive order through President Joe Biden, whereas the DBE program is actually in law. It's 49 CFR Part 26 if you want to research it.
So no executive order can overturn or get rid of DBE.
Yeah, it's an act of Congress would have to do that. But the president actually controls the purse strings, and if he wanted to be, he can actually withhold money, and that's some of the discussions that's going around. But as you can see, the money's still flowing because he wants to build infrastructure too.
Well, any benefit to having, because the transportation secretary is Sean Duffy, who's actually from Wisconsin. So does that shine a light on more highway projects in Wisconsin because the secretary is from here?
Well, Secretary Duffy has already mentioned to the road builders and also to the operators that he wants to continue the infrastructure investment. And so that's good for those who are out there looking for opportunity. The other way I'll answer that question for you real quick is that, we've been in a situation where we're good at what we do. I mean, it's not an issue of being arrogant. It's about an issue of being confident. So really, I don't give a damn on all of these other programs and everything out there. If I'm going to compete, I'm going to compete, right? I mean, I'm going to come into the space. I'm going to put my business together. I'm going to want to be the best. I'm going to be one of the students of the industry, learn the industry. And then when I get out there, then my work will speak for itself. And I think this is what the message we need to send to the young people is that, regardless of whether what's out there, just make sure that, you get into the business that you want to be the best. That way you're not looking for any free money or you're not looking for, a leg up. All you have to do is just let your work speak for itself.
If people want to get in contact with you or find out more information about the construction business group, how do they do so?
Well, you can contact me. We have a website, www.cbgwi.com. If you take a look on the tab, it has DBEDI, the Disadvantaged Business Development Initiative. I'm the director of that particular initiative. We got a master class that we go through with our incoming contractors. Matter of fact, shout out to Jesus Hernandez Ortega. He just got his DBE certification today, which gave me some good news. I've been working with Jesus since last year. Or you can email me at j.davis@cbgwi.com. And let's have a conversation if that's an industry that you're interested in pursuing.
And you are not gonna run for mayor again. I'm just going to rule that out.
Wrong, man.
No, I gotta ask you.
No. I know you well enough. You just took a dig at me.
No,
man.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did, man. I was more concerned about the monkey issue, but you just snuck up on me or something.
Monkey see, monkey do. That's what I meant. But I'm just saying, because you ran for mayor before, I'm just making sure, because whenever I have a politician, a former politician, a recovering politician, I ask them, what the future may hold for them. I'm asking you, don't want to run for mayor?
I'll tell you, man, my wife is so happy because we get a chance to travel and we get a chance to do what we want to do. And our investments are looking good. I'm able to create that generational wealth.
You sound like you rich, Joe. You left the public sector and got rich, didn't you?
Well, let me put it to you that way. You definitely know you can't become wealthy in the public sector unless you do something wrong.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure, man. Don't be a stranger whenever you're in these parts.
Brother, I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Us Milwaukee folks, don't forget about us when you
shut up, man. See, you go
hanging out in New York City and Trump Tower somewhere.
No, South Africa, Doc.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace is up next.
Need a way to hype up